What's up? Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. It's Tuesday night. We're here at the Function House, live from Redhook. Tonight, we want to welcome our special guest this week, DJ Greg Groovez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Mr.
Thanks.
Wordplay Wednesdays.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. Seriously.
Is that something you started, Wordplay Wednesdays?
Yeah.
I've been seeing it a lot.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy a bunch of DJs have kind of started doing it as well, and it's cool to see other DJs do it.
What made you start doing that?
I got tired of playing the same stuff in the club, so Monday morning I just would wake up and come up with a new routine and started playing different stuff.
You would do Wordplay Wednesdays on Monday?
On Monday, and then I would post it on Wednesday. Yeah. That's what would happen. If you ask my girlfriend, she hates me because she hears the same songs over and over. I'm trying to mix and figure it out. We live together.
Well, it's a lot of time in preparation for that, right?
It is. For that 1 minute video, you'd be surprised.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's a lot of work.
How many retakes?
There's days where it takes one take, and then there's the days where it takes like 15. The one I did for this one, forget it, because I wanted it to be like perfect, you know. But
so tell us how you got started.
So I remember I was younger, being in the car with my brothers, and there was a DJ playing. I don't remember who it was, but I heard him like cutting and blending records, and I had no idea what it was, but it was really cool to hear. I don't even remember what station it was, but I remember seeing my two older brothers at the time like popping ahead and really enjoying the song, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, it's kind of nerdy, but I was like, wow. I think from that moment on, I saw how music could affect people and make people happy. So I couldn't sing, rap, or dance. I still can't dance, but I wanted to. I knew I wanted to use music to affect people. And I think that was the start of me really wanting to be a DJ.
So that's where you got the buzz?
That's where I got the buzz. Even before that, when I was younger, I remember hearing my mom play her old 70s stuff, which I hated at the time. But I would notice, I'd go in my brother's room, he would have cassette tapes, and he would be playing records that sampled what my mother was playing. And I heard the similarities. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I think that was the birth of like sample play, because I do a lot of that in my sets. So that started it for me, even at a young age. I think I was 10 when I was like, Dad, I want to be a DJ, and he was like, wait, what?
DJ?
Yeah, he's a school teacher, and so is my mom. They're both retired now, but telling them I wanted to be a DJ, like, and not go to college is probably like
benefits.
Yeah, exactly. They're probably watching now and like,
what kind of job is that?
Right,
That's not a job.
That's exactly what it was. And then, so fast forward through like high school, sophomore year, I went to my first high school dance.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Staten Island, New York, born and raised.
Sorry to hear that.
I know,
No.
everybody says that. But yeah, I was born and raised in Staten Island.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I went to St. Peter's Boys High School. Shouts to the Eagles. Anybody who's
My nephew
watching?
goes there now.
Yeah, it's a great school.
He goes there.
Good.
Football
Is he
guy.
a DJ?
He plays
Football guy?
football. No, he's not a DJ.
Not a DJ? I was asking, you know?
He, no, definitely not.
We'll talk about that after.
He's a good kid.
Okay. So I was at my first high school dance. I remember being with all my buddies, like, yo, I can't wait to get them girls, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, forget all that. I want to see the DJ. So I literally stood in front of the speaker all night and listening to him blend records.
You know who it was? What year was this?
I was a sophomore, 2005. I don't know who it was at the time, but it wasn't even my school's dance. I went to the Farrell's dance, my rival school, but they had all the girls there, so whatever. That's besides the point. I went up to him, to the DJ at the end of the night, and I said, hey man, you know, can I have a card? I really want to start DJing. So he gave me a card, and on the card it said Partners in Sound Productions, which was funny because later in that year I started going to all these Sweet 16s, and they were the company that was doing all the Sweet 16s. So I ended up calling them, and I remember the phone call. I said, hey, you know, my name is Greg. I was a young kid, 16, scrawny, little, long neck, awkward kid. You know, I want to be a DJ. And you know, the response is probably, who the fuck is this kid? You know, so they ended up starting me as a dancer, and I couldn't dance. I still can't dance. You could ask my girlfriend or any of my family members, but I just wanted to be there and be around the DJ. And I would pick up why he would play certain songs and why he would do things, and I really learned how to read a crowd that way. So I think I was 16, 17 years old, and all I was doing with my time was dancing and I would get home. I saved up enough money from dancing, and I bought my own equipment, and all I was doing
So wait,
was
you were dancing for the DJ company?
Yeah.
But you didn't know how to dance?
I didn't. I was just there because I wanted to be there, and I made money, and that's how I paid for my equipment.
No, but that was good. But you were learning.
Right. I was learning, and back then like, I'm not an old time, but I didn't buy vinyl, but I was burning CDs. I had a promo-only account, and I was ripping all the CDs in, and I learned by ear how to mix. I didn't have a screen to stare at, which I'm not hating. It's, but, I ended up learning by ear, and that took me eventually. I started DJing for the company, and I did that for a long time, probably until I was about 23, 24.
So you came up in the mobile world, which is which is a good thing. Because
it did. I didn't realize how much it would help me.
Versatility.
Right. I mean, I was playing, Whitney Houston records and Frank Sinatra records and like stuff that it just exposed me to a whole different thing and learn how to play for a diverse group of people. Yep. And I think that's really important. So
the thing is, like when you're working in mobile and then you're going to clubs, a lot of records in mobile won't work in the clubs.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way. Yeah.
Yep.
You
learn quick though.
Yeah.
You learn really quick.
And vice versa sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely an eye-opening experience. I mean, my first time in the club, I was god-awful, but you learn from it and you adjust how to, you just learn from it.
So what made you want to leave mobile and go to clubs?
I mean, the money was great. I just felt like, I don't want to say like I conquered it, but I had done it for so long, and I just wanted more.
The consistency was probably good too.
The consistency was great. I was making good money for, from 17 to 23-year-old kid.
Yep.
It's great, but then you know what? You start doing it, you're working these 12-hour days, you're setting up gear Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, and you're done by Monday, and then it takes a toll on your body. And I said, you know what? I started going to clubs when I had turned 21, and I was going to like Murmur Monday, which was super hot then, and I was like, I was really inspired because these guys were playing so differently than how I knew. In my mobile world, I knew the same 50 records were gonna work, but these guys are playing fucking, Rum Shaker and like just all different stuff that I couldn't really squeeze in, and I just wanted more diversity. Yep. I wanted to play a little bit more 90s hip hop. I wanted to play a little bit more, maybe I could squeeze in an 80s rock record that I couldn't squeeze in at a mobile party because Grandpa's gonna have a heart attack, But so that was the start of me wanting to do the nightclub, and little did I know how tough it was, because the industry is really, we all know everybody's came here and said where the industry is now, but we don't have to get into that.
So what would you say the biggest mistake you made so far is?
I mean, I've made a few. First thing is check your ego at the door, because I'm coming from this mobile world where I'm Greg Groovez, I'm the man, like everybody knows me, and then you step into the club and it's like, who the fuck are you? So check, that's one of the things I say is check your ego at the door. That's one of the hardest lessons I've learned. Another lesson is, the people are gonna help you along the way, and you're gonna have cosigns and you're gonna have people that help you, but you have to be mindful of the things you do, because when people are working with you and have their time invested in you, it's not about you anymore. You have to think about, if you do one thing, how is it gonna affect that other person? So you just have to be mindful of that. That was a big mistake that I've made, fairly recently.
Well, sure. I mean, every decision that you make may impact your future.
Exactly.
In any game you're in.
Exactly.
So you always have to be mindful about the choices that you're making.
Like more in nightlife.
Especially, I mean, little things like a bunch of my buddies. It's a small industry. My buddies play somewhere. If that venue reaches out, I'm gonna text, hey man, this venue reached out. I want to let you know they reached out to me, because it's not like the wedding world where a bride and groom comes to you. They're gonna search. They're gonna sit with 400 other DJs. You're like, man, fuck that other DJ. I'm gonna make this money. Can't really move that way.
And I think it was more so, I think it was more of an issue back in the day, because there weren't as many DJs, and you had one DJ that was playing one place every week.
Right.
And it was really, like, that's their room, and you didn't want to step on their toes.
Right.
Yeah, well, back, like, you didn't work for different promoters. You worked for that one promoter that was giving you that work. Right,
Yep.
It's different now, man.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. But I still like to, you don't want anybody to feel a certain way. Even nobody's going to react the same way you do, and that's another thing that I've learned. Like, I don't take don't take things personally, but just because I don't, another person might, and you don't. The industry is so small. You don't want one person saying a bad thing about you, even though it might not be that way or look that way.
Right.
You just have to be a little bit more mindful of you know.
So are you represented by any company that you would sign to anybody?
I am. We're on a handshake agreement with Ron Rodrigo, great guy. He started Rated R Management, and we met. I started playing at his venue at the Gansevoort Park. I want to say about a year ago, and you know, he showed a lot of love, and he said, "Hey man, I've always had this idea." And I did some research on him, and I found out that a lot of DJs respected him because he just shows so much love to us, and he loves what we do. So we started talking, and he said, you know, I have a couple of venues, like, let's really do this, you know. So we're in talks now. We're gonna start expanding to other DJs, you know, that are really doing it. You know, we have some conversations with some guys coming up.
So how are you mostly getting your gigs these days?
It's a lot of word of mouth. I think that's mainly what it is. My social media has helped a lot. That's everything now. You know, your content has to be so strong. You know, the pictures, that's why I do the Wordplay Wednesdays, because it's something, you know, people talk about, not only DJs, but other DJs are going to share it. Then the venues they play at are going to see it. And then it's, you know, so I think social media is really, really important. Ron gets me a few bookings as well. And that's going to increase as we, you know, keep growing.
Is there any DJs that you look up to or follow at the moment?
Yeah, man. I follow a few. Obviously, Jazzy Jeff, the legend, is like, you know, he's God to me. A-Track is doing so many cool things with how he's progressed from, you know, from the battle style to what he's doing now, and he kind of brought that, you know, back a little bit. Clutch is a huge inspiration to me, just because he's from my neighborhood. You know, he's been DJing for like ever. You know, he's been killing it. Even some of the guys, like my peers, like if you look at Encore and Nick Russo and Ammo, like the things they're doing right now they're just killing it.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So, but yeah, there's definitely, I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of DJs that I should look up to. Obviously the people that got me started, you know, there's so many that have showed me how to play and, you know, how to do things.
So where are you working now? Do you have like a schedule, like you use residencies?
Yeah, so I'm a resident at Providence in Atlantic City. I'm a resident at the Gansevoort Park. We're working on a residency at Sway Nightclub in Fort Lauderdale. I think I'll be back there next month. We're also working on some new venues. Chicago we have in the works. Shouts to Dirty Darren. Look him up. He's a Chicago Bulls DJ. He's really, really good. He's another one in his city that's like taken over, you know.
Let us know when he's in town.
Yeah, I think he's in town actually next week and a half. He'll be in town.
Yeah,
We got him.
definitely let us know.
Yeah, I will.
So traveling gigs, are you doing any traveling right now?
Yeah, well, like I said, Chicago and then Fort Lauderdale. We have some Miami gigs as well. I love to travel. I think that's the coolest thing about this is like being able to go to different cities.
I think that's the reason why a lot of people become DJs.
I think that's what I was drawn to was the traveling aspect. I've been.
But then when you realize how hard it is to actually get gigs like outside of New York.
I say like I say this a lot, 20% of what we do is actually DJing. There's so much behind the scenes stuff, the phone calls. Now you have to be the DJ, the promoter, videographer, photographer, all on your own. So like doing all that, and then you go out of state and travel, and now you have to make those connections that you have here and bring that to a whole other state, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it even harder.
It's a whole nother animal.
Whole other animal, you know?
It became like a full-time job.
Yep.
Like you're better off hiring somebody to take care of all that stuff.
Right.
Or signing to a management company.
That's gonna handle that?
And letting them handle that.
Yeah.
Because you start to lose your focus on music.
That's what it is, and I think that's a good point. I think a lot of guys struggle is like, especially now, you gotta like to learn love the grind, you know, like DJing it's where the game is right now in New York. Yes, you have to show up and go through the motions and do what you have to do, but I like the grind. I like, even if the venue is, you know, whatever, and I'm being told what to do, like I started here and now I'm here, and that grind really keeps me going. You know,
yeah.
So
love the game.
Yeah, that's what, if you talk to anybody that really like they love the grind and they love to play.
Well, I mean, I think it's with anything that you do when you have to put in the time and the energy and the sweat and the struggle.
Right.
When you reap the benefits of that, it feels that much better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it wouldn't feel as good if somebody just handed it to you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like it would be great, you know, if they put you on, But at the end of the day, when you look back, it's sort of like it's not as rewarding.
I think that the faster it comes, like if something is handed to you, the faster it goes. Like if you build and build and build and build,
Oh, yeah,
like
of
there's
course.
DJs that have been building forever who are gonna work forever, you know. And I
Yeah.
think, and then the guys that have that one-hit wonder, 2 years from now, where are you know?
Yep.
Where are you now? You know.
Well, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. You know, my DJ career, I started when I was very young, and I was fortunate when I was very young, only because of the fact that I knew certain promoters, that I got put into big rooms at a very young age.
Were you ready for it? Like what?
But I was not ready for it.
I think.
And I was put into those rooms for all the wrong reasons. And that's another thing, like, a lot of these young guys have to understand. You know, like, you build up that following, and I know it's different today. You know, it's not so much based on your talent anymore. You know what I'm saying? But back in the day, it was. But when you were young, and you had a following, you were put on as an opening DJ. And for the pure reason that you were going to bring people to the club. You know, but I learned that mistake where it was like, you know, it was like all these different places, and it was great. Your name's on the flyer. You're only playing till 12 o'clock. And then, like, I kind of shot a load really quick. And then it was very hard to get back into that scene.
It's what happens, and it still goes on today. You know, like I lose a lot of gigs because guys are showing up with 50 to 100 people. Like I want to talk to you. Like, tell me how you're doing this, because they're getting the gigs, and I respect the hustle.
Yep.
And I'm still building to that point, and it's very hard to do, especially now. Nobody's going out. Who wants to get dressed and throw his heels on and pay $50 to get in when I can go to the bar? That's free to get into, you know. It's like that whole thing, and everything's changed.
See, a lot of DJs now are being told like to book tables and stuff like that.
Yeah, it happens.
That's something new to me.
It happens to me, yeah, all the time.
So it's like you'll get booked, but you know, how many tables did you book also?
That's what it is. I mean, at least I see it from both sides, because if you're running a business, why am I going to book this DJ when I could book this guy and he's going to bring
Exactly.
50 people and at least cover his pay and more, and the club is packed.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to walk that line.
Yeah, and I just think that it's a combination of things, right? I think that to be successful in this game and take it to a level, like a really high level, and the track record speaks for itself, because there's a bunch of guys that you could look at. Like, the first thing is you have to be super passionate about the craft of DJing. If you look at any DJs that are successful today,
Mhm.
the guys who will really make a name for themselves, and they play the good parties and they're respected, they are super passionate
Mhm.
about the craft of DJing and playing music.
Uh-huh.
So I think that that's important.
Yeah.
You wanna,
No, just hold my.
oh.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing is you have to have a mouthpiece. Not meaning that you have to talk on the microphone, but you have to be vocal.
Yep.
You have to talk up. You have to express your opinions. You have to stick up for yourself. You have to be strong in that sense. Because if you don't have a mouthpiece, so, you know, like, it's good to be humble. Like, you don't want to be too cocky. It's good to be humble, but you can't not talk.
Right.
Because if you don't, they're going to just pass you by.
I think finding that balance is really important, because when I first got into it, like, oh, I'm Greg Groovez, you know, it's like,
Yeah, you got to find the
you
right
gotta
balance.
find the balance of.
You got to
know,
help people along the way.
That's the thing.
You have to produce records.
Yeah, I have some remixes coming out very soon, probably within the next week or 2 weeks. That's exciting.
Okay, that's good.
Shameless
That's good.
plug.
And you have to have your social media. I think it's a combination
so-
of those things.
So I think social media is probably the most important.
Yep.
It's big, yeah.
Being on
It's
social
big.
media every day.
It's definitely big.
Instagram, Facebook,
Every day. It's grind.
Wordplay Wednesdays, every day.
That's why you have to give people something to talk about, which
Yep.
is really, like, it's sad, but you have to. Everybody's feeling. You know
Whether
what?
it's positive or negative.
That's true too. And you know what? Everything moves so fast. You can come out with the dopest thing, and then people forget about it 2 days later. And you're like, damn.
And you know what the other thing is? You can't be a hater.
No.
You know, like, I see so many DJs on Facebook that
Ranting.
they rant.
I was that guy.
You know?
Uh-huh.
And you
I
just,
was that guy.
You can't do that, because people pay attention
Yep.
to that. And what you throw out there is
Comes
what
right
you're going to
back.
get back.
Yeah,
So for all those haters out there,
Yeah.
don't hate.
You know, I was. That's a good point. I was a big hater, and I had a lot of hate in my heart, because when you love what you do and you're not progressing as fast as you should be, and you're looking at whatever, why is this guy, why is that guy there? You really have to look at yourself and be like, why am I not there? And I think I had some people, you know, helping me along the way. When I was told that, it changed the whole perception of, like, okay, let me find out what works for me and what doesn't, and really get rid of the hate in your heart, because it really is all on you.
Yeah.
You were
You
just
know?
probably frustrated because you're a good DJ,
Right.
and you see a lot of people around you that are getting opportunities that
Right.
you might not be,
Right.
and you were a little frustrated.
Yeah, and it happens, but you learn from it, you know.
That's it.
You know, even here, I was probably like, when I saw all my peers, you're like, nah, fuck that, fuck the function house, I want to be on here. You know, it's like, you know, but you learn, and, you know, you pay your dues, and you have, you know, people calling favors, and you get where you got to go, but.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, it's tough for us, you know, putting people on because.
Oh, no,
there's-
no, I'm not, I wasn't coming at you with
No,
that.
no, no.
Yeah, no, no.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just from our perspective, I mean, there are thousands of DJs. I mean, we get tons of emails. And
I
it's so
can
hard
imagine.
to, like,
I was
go
one of those
through
guys,
it, you
yeah.
know?
We
It's-
want to put everybody on.
Yeah.
You know, we just want to make sure it's right timing for people.
The right
And
fit.
that's why we're doing this, because we want to put people on.
Right, and
you know,
it's great what you guys are doing, seriously.
Like, this is important for us to give back, and
Does-
that's why we're doing it.
So, do you guys both DJ'd?
Yeah.
Can you fill me in on that? Like, you've been DJing for how long?
Since I was 14.
Oh my, and
12.
a lot of DJ experience in this room right now. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And are you
I
guys
mean,
still
that's-
DJing?
Yeah. I mean, that's how we met.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was love of DJ first DJ
We're
site.
interviewing you right
I know. I feel like nobody's asked about you guys. I'm
No,
sorry.
mean,
You know, I want to
know,
know.
We'll bring you back. You can interview
Yeah,
us.
okay. I just wanted to know, man.
What do you
It's-
got planned for us tonight?
I got a lot of stuff that I really like and I really enjoy. Like I spoke on the sample play, you know, that you know, with my mom's records and what my brother was playing. I have a lot of that stuff in, and a lot of people don't know I like house music. So I got a couple
we
little.
like house music.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
couple
we
little
do.
things. People are gonna be like, "Why is Greg playing all this house music?" You know, but it's really what I like, and I just wanted to be authentic.
What kind of house music do you like?
Not the raging EDM stuff. That I like some of that stuff, but I like real, the classic stuff that was in the early '90s.
Yeah, give me an artist. Give me not an artist. Give me a DJ
Or
or.
a song.
Well, I mean, Everybody Be Somebody. Do you know that?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That's
the
like that's in
Roughnecks.
there. That's
I love that
That gets
song.
me. That bass line, that way that
Yeah.
you know, that way that bounces.
Boom, boom,
Oh,
boom,
that's-
boom.
That's my heart right there.
It's
27. So.
good you know records like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sat home and just did a ton of research, and that's what it was. So
It's
I
a
would
great
hear this record, and I'd be like, "Well, what year did that come out? Well, what else was big when this was when this was around?" So I really became like a student of, and I still am, you know, of. I hear stuff on the radio like, "Where'd that sample come from? That was dope," because that wasn't synth produced.
Yep.
You know.
Well, we're excited to have you here.
I'm excited
We're
to be
kicking
here.
off August month of new talent.
Yes, we have
Up
Petey
and
Smalls
coming
next
talent.
week, right? And Marty
Yep.
Rock, and who else?
Yep.
And
There's
Pinto.
Pinto. I've never heard of you, Pinto, but good luck.
Pinto's dope.
If you're on here, I guess you're doing
Like
doing the
house
right thing.
music like that.
Yeah,
you should
Pinto's
definitely
dope.
tune in
Shouts to
next week.
Pinto then.
Yeah.
But
All right, well, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and we're going to get Greg up on the turntables. He's going to rock here at the Function House.
all right.
Peace.
Peace.